A NewsNation media contributor. Colby Hall is a founding editor at Mediaite. Yeah, we have some practice, obviously, from past campaigns. Let me put up what the Associated Press said about this in an article today. The news outlets were leaked insider material from the Trump campaign, but chose not to print it. Instead, Politico, the New York Times, and the Washington Post have written about a potential hack of the campaign, described what they had in broad terms. And the AP points out that's in marked contrast to the 2016 presidential campaign when a Russian hack exposed emails to and from Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, John Podesta. What would you say about it, Colby?
Well, at face value, it certainly looks like a double standard. It looks like in 2016, when Russian hackers got emails from the DNC server, the media outlets thought it newsworthy and ran with it. But, 8 years later, we know a lot more. And we now know that WikiLeaks, we didn't at the time, was basically laundering some hacked information. And while it may appear to be unfair for the Harris campaign and doing the Trump campaign a solid, two wrongs don't make a right? And so I think the media outlets have learned that, when there's hacked material, it's not responsible to let that out. Now, I will say a couple things. It's ironic that Trump loves to lash into the fake news media, but they're doing him a real solid here. Secondly, it wouldn't surprise me is if this information is with some editors at those outlets that we don't end up seeing it get leaked by, some staffers who may not be as ethical or principled as others.
Here's what the Trump campaign itself said about it from spokesperson Stephen Chung, who says any media or news outlet reprinting documents or internal communications, doing the bidding of America's enemies, doing exactly what they want. As Colby points out, that's not what's happening here. I wonder, and it shouldn't, right? But I wonder if the content matters. And if there was other types of content in here, would we be more likely to see what's in the hack?
So there's lots of whispers. We don't know. Nothing's really been confirmed. But you've seen a lot of chatter that this was a Oppo dossier on J.D. Vance. Whenever a candidate gets elected, they look through sort of, their history to make sure that there's, they're on the up and up and there's not, obvious stuff for which they can be attacked over. This does stand in stark contrast from when 2016, when then candidate Trump, called on Russia and WikiLeaks to release the emails, the 3,000 emails of Hillary Clinton's that went that had disappeared. They didn't find those emails, but they found something else. And so there's a healthy dose of irony here that the Trump campaign, which called for hacked material in 2016 to hurt Hillary, is now taking a higher road. But such is politics. People always want to do the thing that they think helps them and hurts their opponent. And but I do think it's worth noting that the media is taking a principled stand here. And even though it's fun to lay into and criticize the media, they're doing the right thing.
Right, and this may not be the last of it, so we'll see how all of this continues up in between now and November. The other big media story of the week, I suppose, I would think you, like everybody else in our business, tried to listen in for a little while last night to Elon Musk and Donald Trump. But I couldn't listen to the whole thing. That went on for a couple hours. I wonder what you think of that, whether it was kind of underwhelming at the end of the day. I know they had some tech problems at the beginning. Here's a quick clip from last night.
This third-rate phony candidate. Don't forget, I beat Biden. He failed in the debate miserably. We cannot have her. She's incompetent. She's as bad as Biden in a different. Yeah. Look, she hasn't done an interview since this whole scam started.
Something sounded a little funny as people talked about online about Trump's delivery for whatever reason. Could have been something to do with the platform. I have no idea. But what about this whole presentation? It was built up and to be something. Did it deliver?
I don't think so. In fact, I think it was a pretty big embarrassment for Elon Musk. Look, there were two objectives here. One, for Elon Musk to promote X, formerly Twitter, as this sort of viable and influential political media platform. He really wants to promote and support Trump. The other objective was for former President Trump to sort of reset his campaign and sort of stem the tide of momentum that Kamala Harris has found over the last 3 weeks. On those two objectives, it was a failure, a disaster really for Elon Musk. And it was 2 hours. Trump didn't really say anything that materially different. And I think I saw you say something on social media that Elon Musk is really talented and very smart at a lot of things. interviewing is not his strong suit. Like he doesn't like he didn't know how to sort of corral his subject and sort of help him get to the point. So, if you're it's he was relaxed. There was, I guess they had fun, but for 2 hours, no one's got time. The only people that want to sit for 2 hours of Elon Musk and Trump are hardcore Musk Trump supporters, and those are not the persuadable that they need to convince.
On a professional level, the guy's probably got me in just about every category. I mean, thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.